Hola, Year 7. So last week we did an end of year recap, and this week we're going to carry on that, and we're going to cover lots of different topics that you would normally do in Year 7. So some of them you'll have done, and some of them you might not have done. And even if you have done them, then you might feel like you've forgotten it because obviously you've not been able to be in school for a while, most of you. So don't worry about that at all. This is just a really good opportunity for you to learn some new Spanish words, revise ones you have done this year, revise maybe some that you learned in primary school if you learned Spanish in primary school. So just take it as it comes, take a break when you need to, pause it, go and look up words and come back to it. And don't worry because we're going to go through all of the answers after each activity. So let's jump in. The first activity we're going to do today is a translation. Now, you might be thinking, this is a very long text. This is going to take me ages. Don't worry. All I want you to do is time yourself 5 minutes. How much of this can you translate into English? Maybe you can only do single words. You can look at it and say, well, hola means hello. Miguel, I think that's a name, so I'm going to just write that down. Barcelona, that's the same in English. David, that's a name. Familia, that means family. You can just write down any you know, but if you can do sentences, even better. Don't worry about doing this whole translation unless you want to. And you can see in blue, I've given you some help there at the bottom right where it says ayuda. So pause the video now, 5 minutes. How much can you translate? Off you go. Okay, let's see how you got on. Here are the answers. You'll notice there's a little mistake in the answers. It says Barcelona. That's not right, is it? It should be Barcelona, so that's just a typo. But it tells you there in English what this person Miguel is saying. So have a look. How many words did you get? Did you get any sentences, phrases? Don't forget, you can write all of this down. You can do it in a Word document. You can do it on a piece of paper and take a picture. However you want to do it, submit it so your teachers can see how you've got on. Now the next activity. So if you still needed to mark the other one, it's okay. Just pause this video at any point, do what you need to do, and then we'll move on. So now the next activity is there are a number of words on this slide in Spanish, and I want you to see how many of them you know. Now, don't worry if you look and think, I'm not really sure I recognise any of them, because you will have seen some of these words before, even at the start of Year 7. So there might be somewhere in your brain. Have a little think. I've taken out all of the easy ones and I've left these tricky ones in that don't look like English. So have a look. And can you remember any? If you feel like you can't, pause the video, maybe just look up on the internet 3, 4 or 5 of them, find out what they mean, write them down, because that's learning something too. So give yourself now no more than 10 minutes to translate these. You don't have to write it all out, you can just do the answers if you want, and we'll check them in a sec. Okay, here are the answers. So you can check against what you thought the words meant and see if you got them right. The ones you looked up are now ones that you know. Maybe there's a few more you can quickly look at now and think, oh, now I know that genial means great, or escribir means to write. So it's all about just picking up a few extra words here and there. Let's move on. Now we're looking about where we live. So 1 to 6, you've got some sentences where a different person each time, is saying where they live, so what their home is like, and where it is. You need to pick the 2 letters that match their description. So the first one's done for you as an example. You can see it says number 1, A and E. So why does it say A? The person says for number 1, vivo en una casa grande. So what's una casa grande? Casa is a house and grande is big. So if we look at the pictures, the only picture that really matches is A. Then it says on number 1, está en la montaña. What could that be, montaña? That looks a bit like English, doesn't it? It's the mountains. So which picture does that match? It's got to be E. Now give the other ones a go. Look up the words if you need to, and try and see if there are any words that look like English. You'll notice there are for number 5 and number 6. There is a word in each that looks a little bit like an English word that will match one of those pictures. So give yourself a few minutes now, and there is an extension as well in yellow for you to tell me where you live. Brilliant. If you're ready then, let's move on to the answers, and if not, you can pause this video, remember. But I'm going to go through the answers now, and there they are at the bottom of the screen. So give yourself a mark out of 12 for these. And if you found this a bit tricky, just see if you even got costa, which is the coast, desierto, which is the desert. And remember, if you didn't know any of this vocab, now you know hopefully 1 or 2 words. You can write those down. That's great. Moving on to the next activity. We've got the first part of a sentence and the second part of the sentence, and we've got to match up the pairs. So the first one's done for you. It says, saco fotos. Now you can see there are pictures to help you with this. Saco, I take, photos, fotos. Let's do number 2 together. You've got some people there, haven't you? It says, hablo con. Now, hablo, you might not remember what that means. It means I speak, or I chat, or I talk, and con is with. But we can see there's a picture of some people, and if we look at that sort of purpley box, which of those options would best match? SMS, música, fotos, karaoke, guitarra, or mis amigos? Hopefully you know it's got to be mis amigos, my friends. So number 2 would be hablo con mis amigos. Look at the pictures to help you and complete these sentences. There's an extension, top right, tell me what you do in your free time and why. And I'll be super impressed. I'd love to see your answers. You can submit those on Google Classroom. Let's go through the answers. If you need to pause this video, remember you can. But here are the answers now. Hopefully you got the karaoke one. You can see the person is singing. You can see the guitar one, number 4. And música is another word that is very much like English. Now we're going to do a listening. Listenings are really, really important because they're one of the things that people practice least, and they're really important actually for understanding and being able to talk to people, communicate when you meet a Spanish person, or if you want to travel, if you want to get a job where you're using your Spanish, and if you want to do well in your exams. So let's do a listening now, and all you have to do is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Write that down and pick the correct letter for each one to complete the sentence. So I'm going to read it for you, and I'm going to repeat each one twice. We can do the first one together. So number 1, he wants to go out on, is it Friday, Saturday or Sunday? Have a listen to what I'm about to say. Hola, Andrea. ¿Quieres salir el sábado? Hola, Andrea. ¿Quieres salir el sábado? What did it sound like? He said sábado. So would it be Friday, Saturday or Sunday? Sábado. It's Saturday, so you would put 1B. Now I'm not going to help you with the other ones, but remember you only have to pick A, B or C. So have a listen and give it a go. Number 2. Podemos ir al cine. Podemos ir al cine. The key word there is cine. Number 3. Mi amigo viene con nosotros. Mi amigo viene con nosotros. The key word there is amigo. Number 4. Te llamo a las 8:10. Te llamo a las 8:10. The key word there is 10. Let's see the answers. And you can also see what I just read, sentences as well. If you managed to get 4 out of 4, well done. Now we're going to move on to a reading, and you've got some key vocabulary top right in green. So you can use that to help you. You've also got an extension if you want to do that as an extra challenge. And 1 to 6, we've got some sentences in English. So all you need to do is write the answers to those questions by finding the answers in the text. Let's do the first one together. Number 1, what does Juanita do 3 times a week? So we're looking for the word 3. Tres. We can find it in the second line of the text. It says, juego 3 veces a la semana. 3 veces a la semana. So, veces, 3 veces, 3 times a week. What is it she does? Let's look at it. She said, mi pasión es el tenis. So it's tennis. Now this one, you're going to want to probably look up some of the vocab, but don't forget I've given you some of the words top right in green, so you can use that to help you as well. Give this a go. Use the internet to look up the words if you need to. Pause it and we'll go through the answers in a moment. Okay, here are the answers. So again, I am pushing you quite hard and this is quite challenging. Don't get disheartened if you're finding it tricky. We're going to make sure you're all caught up when you're back in school properly. So don't worry at all. But this is an opportunity for you to push yourself and find out as many words and revise as many words as you can before you come back to school properly. Okay, let's move on. Rafa is talking about himself here. And this is a quick reading. And again, you're just going to write the answers. Let's do the first one together. How many people are there in Rafa's family? So we're looking for a number, aren't we? Let's find a number. En mi familia hay 5 personas. Look, he says 5. So it's 5. Give the rest of the questions a go and we'll go through the answers in a sec. And here are the answers. Okay then. Now, I want you to see if you can do some writing. I want you to try to write 5 sentences that make sense. At the top here, picking one from each box. The yellow box, you've got the green one, and you've got the purple one. Now, this activity is really challenging for Year 7 because you guys haven't been in to learn this vocabulary. So if you want to, if you've already found the others are challenging enough, you can skip this now, but I'm keeping it in the video anyway in case there's somebody out there who wants to give it a go. So what you do, if you don't want to do this, you can skip what I'm saying now and go to the next activity. But if you do want to do it, it's all about saying things that happened to you on holiday. So the one on the left is it was, and then an opinion word. For example, it was horrible. Porque, because, and then in the purple box, bad things or good things that happened. You can see vomité, I was sick. Visité monumentos, I visited monuments. You can look up the vocab to find out what it means. You've just got to try and write 5 logical sentences. For example, you wouldn't say, it was horrible because I met a good-looking boy. That wouldn't really make sense, would it? So if you want to do that, give it a go. The bit below is sentences that are positive or negative. You've just got to decide if they're positive or negative about their holiday. So for example, number 1, me encanta. We know that means I love. So that's positive, isn't it? Number 2, it says que horror. Now horror, horror, that doesn't sound positive, does it? So you could put an N for that one. So give this a go if you want to, and if not, skip on to the next activity. Here are the answers for the bottom half. If you did the top half sentences, we'd love to read them, so make sure you submit them on Google Classroom so your teachers can see and let you know what we think. Now we're going to move on to a listening. Now remember, if you need a break at any point, you're not expected to do all of this lesson in one go. It is long and it is challenging. So just do a bit at a time throughout the week whenever you feel like doing your Spanish. Okay, so now we're going to do this listening, and all you've got to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, pick the letter for each person. Let's do number 1 together. We need to find out what Anna likes. Is it sailing, swimming, or surfing? Number 1. A Ana le gusta la natación. Natación. Make a decision which one you think that is. Now you should have learned in Year 7 that natación is swimming. But don't worry if you didn't remember it, because hopefully now when you see it in the future, you'll know. Let's give the others a go. 2. Number 2. Mateo prefiere el ciclismo. Mateo prefiere el ciclismo. Now that one sounds like English, doesn't it? Ciclismo. Which one does it sound most like out of cycling, climbing and skiing? 3. A Gloria le encanta el atletismo. Again, that sounds a bit like English. Atletismo. A Gloria le encanta el atletismo. And finally, number 4. Raúl practica la equitación. Raúl practica la equitación. Equitación. Give that a go. And make a guess if you need to, because I'll show you the answers in a sec. And here they are, and you can also see what I've just said. So hopefully you got ciclismo, which looks a little bit like cycling, and atletismo looks a bit like athletics. But if you didn't remember or you didn't know 1 and 4, that's okay. Hopefully now if you see them again, you'll know them. All right, you're nearly there, and you've done absolutely amazingly to get this far. 1 to 6, we're going to revise now some colours and some clothes. So we want to find out who of these 4 people is wearing these different things. Who wears black boots? We're going to look for the word boots and the word black. So hopefully you will have done colours and you may have done them in year 7. But you can always look up these words, remember, if you need to. So let's look for the word black, which is negro. Let's have a look through. We can find that Anna talks about negra, which is quite similar, but she's talking about it's a camiseta negra. That's not boots, is it? Camiseta is a t-shirt. So it's not Anna. What about Natalia? She doesn't mention negro, black, so it's not her. Matías mentions vaqueros negros. Those are jeans. So that's not it, but he does say botas negras, boots, black boots. So number 1 is Matías. Who wears a black t-shirt? Now we've seen this one before because I just mentioned it. Negra, camiseta negra. So it's Anna. A black t-shirt, camiseta negra. Give the rest of these a go and don't forget you can pause the video to find out the vocabulary if you need to. That's absolutely fine. Okay, here are the answers. And if you manage to get some of those, especially if you manage to do it without looking up the answers, then that's amazing. Now, we're going to skip this activity, so don't worry about this. We're going to finish the lesson there. So if you want to read through this activity, you can, but you can see the answers at the bottom already. Don't worry about this one. There is an extra challenge at the bottom in yellow, which is to say what you're going to do for your birthday. Now, it was recently my birthday, and because I was at home and we're not really able to go out much at the moment, I celebrated at home, but I did eat lots of nice food and I listened to some music and I opened some presents. So there are lots of things that I could talk about if I wanted to talk about what I was going to do for my birthday. So we'd love to know in Spanish what you are going to do for your next birthday. It doesn't have to be true. You can make it up. It could be your dream party or your dream holiday, whatever you like. But if you want to fill that in a Word doc or write it down and send us a picture, we would love to see it on Google Classroom. You've done a fab job and you're pushing yourself really hard, so well done. You're making amazing progress, the best you can, and we're super proud. Have a lovely rest of the day and a fab week. Adios!